Welcome to the Great Detectives of Old Time Radio from Boise, Idaho. This is your host, Adam Graham. In a moment, we're going to bring you this week's episode of Broadway's My Beat. But I do want to encourage you, if you're enjoying the podcast, to please follow us using your favorite podcast software. And I want to let you know about Fulton Fish Market. When it comes to seafood, freshness makes all the difference. And there's something special about getting seafood straight from the experts at FultonFishMarket.com. For over 200 years, Fulton Fish Market has been the most trusted name in seafood, supplying top chefs, restaurants, and now home kitchens across the country. Their expert fishmongers carefully select every order, ensuring you get seafood at peak freshness, whether it's wild-caught salmon, succulent scallops, or perfectly tender shrimp. And because you're a listener of this podcast, you can enjoy 17% off your entire order by using the promo code BOX13 at checkout. That's the best discount they offer, and I earn a commission when you use my code, so it's a win-win for great seafood and supporting the show. Ready to bring restaurant-quality seafood to your table? Visit FultonFishMarket.com and use promo code BOX13 to taste the difference. Now, from May 26, 1950, here is the Ann Cordell murder case.
Broadway's My Beat. From Times Square to Columbus Circle, the gaudiest, the most violent, the lonesomest mile in the world.
Broadway's My Beat, with Larry Thor as Detective Danny Clover.
There are several ways to consider the moon over Broadway. It depends upon your job or the company you keep. You can hold somebody's hand and point to it. You can stand on a street corner and sneer at it. Or you can do it the way I did. Stick your head out of the window at police headquarters and try to focus through the haze laid down by the neon. I had just about focused when the interruption came.
My name's Goodwin. They said walk right in.
All right. Close the door.
I never saw such a sight in all my life.
Sit down, Mr. Goodwin.
You really expect me to sit down after what I just saw? You really do?
What did you see?
A murder with my own two eyes.
Sit down, Mr. Goodwin.
You don't believe me, do you?
I'll tell you, Mr. Goodwin, the statistics are against you. We get a dozen calls a day from eyewitnesses to murders.
You see, I told you.
Mostly they turn out to be nothing at all. Drunks, that sort of thing.
I saw a murder. I saw a man strangle a woman. I saw his face. I saw her face. He was furious. She was dying. I saw it. Now, don't tell me to sit down, either.
Tell me about it.
From the bus, the Acme Sightseeing Deluxe Tours. I got there early, so I got a seat near the window.
What are you talking about, Mr. Goodwin?
The sightseeing bus. I had a seat by the window. That's how I saw it.
Go ahead.
We had just left Chinatown. That was part of the tour. I didn't like Chinatown. It was murky and oriental, and it made me feel finicky.
Go ahead, Mr. Goodwin.
We left Chinatown, and we were riding along. I was watching the street signs go by. You know, 31st Street, 32nd Street, 33rd Street.
I do that myself, Mr. Goodwin. Go ahead.
Well, around about 35th Street and 1st Avenue, I saw a murder.
Go ahead.
It was in one of those houses, and I remember to observe something.
And what was that?
The house was on the right-hand side of the street going north.
What did you do when you saw this murder, Mr. Goodwin?
What does a responsible citizen do when he sees a murder while he's riding on a bus? He tells the bus driver.
And what did the bus driver tell you?
Exactly what an irresponsible bus driver always does. He said he had a schedule to keep.
Pardon me, Mr. Goodwin. Danny Clover speaking.
Danny, Muggavan.
What's on your mind?
Downtown, Danny. Girl's been strangled.
Huh? Where?
2416 First Avenue near 35th. Second house from the corner. On the right-hand side, going north.
Danny?
Yeah? Where are you?
Back here, Danny, in the bedroom. Oh, hi, Danny. In here. That overstuffed chair facing the window. I see it.
Yeah. What's that, Madeline?
People upstairs, noisy type, noisy plumbing. And another kid's bouncing a ball on the floor. Sounds like a ball.
Strangled. The bruises on her throat. Ripped dress. She's just a kid.
18. Music student from London, Iowa. You saw the piano in the front room?
Yeah. Who was she, Muggavan?
Kid who came to the big city to study music. Been here a month, named Ann Cornell.
Anything?
Nothing, Danny. The ball game's over. 2 letters from home, Danny. Pictures of her mother and father, a couple of dresses, coats in the closet. All the ordinary things for a girl from a small town. Maybe the boys from technical.
How do you do it? How? How do you stand over a dead girl and haggle over a death? Tell me, how do you do it? Because I want to know.
Muggavan.
He called us, Danny. Says his name is Sandy McKay. Says he found a girl like that.
You knew Ann, Sandy?
Oh, get out. Please get out. Leave me alone with Ann. Just for a while. So many things that I never told her. Oh, just for a while, please.
How old are you, Sandy?
Oh, get out.
20, 19? Help us, Sandy. We want to find Ann's murderer. You'll help us do that, won't you, Sandy?
What does it matter? She's dead. Ann's dead.
You knew her back home in Iowa?
No.
Where? Where did you meet Ann? Through friends? Someone?
It was at school. I was walking down a hall, and I saw her in one of the classrooms. I just went right up to her, and talked to her. Everybody laughed.
What school, Sandy?
The Spence School of Music. She was studying piano there. My family wants me to be a musician. I hate it. But it was all right. Because all of a sudden there was Ann in a room.
You found her here like this. Tell me about that, Sandy.
We had a date. When I knocked, she didn't answer. Then I called, and still she didn't answer. And then the door just opened. I guess it was a draft someplace. It just opened. So I came in and... Oh, Ann!
Hey, don't touch her.
Leave him alone, Muggavan. Leave him alone. A little while after that, the technical squad arrived, very efficient with their cameras, their dusting powder, and their little black books. Sometime after that, they took Sandy McKay down to headquarters for further questioning. Then I went home to sleep. The next morning, I walked down Broadway, turned left 2 blocks, and found myself in front of a tired building that has a lot of names. You take your choice. You walk up 4 flights, and you get 4 offers. You're perfect for a fairy tale ballet that's opening in Newark. You make a stunning cover on a muscle magazine. You can play ukulele with a college boy combo in Atlantic City. Have you got a song that's trying to be published? Oh, with a slight fee, of course. And on the 5th floor, you find what you're looking for. Alonzo and Blanche Spence, School of Music. Earn as you learn. I went in. I beg your pardon, All right.
Trumpet playing like that gives me pimples. I don't know why, but...
My name's Danny Clover.
Danny Clover. Oh, you don't have to worry about that. We'll think of a fine name for you. Something that'll look good in life. Alonzo?
Yeah. What is it, Blanche? Oh, another student, huh? What's your name, young fellow?
He told me Danny Clover.
You don't have to worry about that.
I'm from the police.
Oh, the police band, huh?
Now, let's hold that for a little while. I want to talk to you about one of your pupils.
Brass or string?
Ann Cornell. Tell me about her.
A very talented girl.
Oh, she is a nothing.
I don't care about her talent, Mr. Spence. I've come to tell you she's dead. I said she's dead.
But how? Yesterday she was here. How?
Murdered. Strangled.
Oh.
Poor girl. Oh, I'm sorry what I said, too. I'm sorry.
You said she was here yesterday, Mrs. Spence. At what time?
In the afternoon, as usual. Every day, Mr. Clover. She was a talented girl.
Oh, she really was, Mr. Clover.
Did you notice anything about her yesterday?
But she was happy since that boy.
Sandy McKay?
Yes. When she walked into her classroom one day and started to talk to her. Since then, so happy. It showed. Her face. Music. Oh, who'd want to kill her?
We're trying to find that out.
We'll help, won't we, Alonzo?
Oh, of course. Ann Cornell enrolled a month ago. Paid for her tuition in advance. She came from...
London, Iowa.
London, Iowa. Thank you, Blanche.
She came regularly for her instructions. She met Sandy McKay. She seemed happy.
Oh, what else?
Well, that's all we know of her, Mr. Clover. Nothing more than that. Nothing at all.
Hi, Danny.
Guess who?
Huh?
I said, guess who, Danny? A former child's play I play with the Tartaglia bloodhound Giuseppe. They always get the laugh.
Oh?
When the Tartaglia bloodhound responds to my humor like that, I just gotta up his ration of strong heart. I don't know, Danny. That dog, he just wraps me around his third finger. Last night...
Whenever you finish laughing, Tartaglia.
I'm finished, Danny. The next item on the agenda, Danny, is... Danny, I apologize for being funny, so kill me.
I may.
Yeah. Well, the next item on the agenda, to wit, the police department of London, Iowa, have graciously completed our files on the deceased Anne Cornell.
You'll tell me about it, huh, Tartaglia?
Oh, with pleasure, Danny. Anne Cornell was indeed 18 years old. Did indeed come here to study the piano. Was from a respectable Iowa family, indeed. Never a mark against the girl. Loved and respected by all and sundry. Her death is a big tragedy in our hometown, Danny.
Where isn't it? What else, Tartaglia?
Reports and technical. They went over the girl's room with a fine-tooth comb, claw and nail. Nothing. Nothing that didn't have a reason for being there.
Fingerprints?
Hers, the boy's, Sandy McKay. And the set identified as belonging to the landlady who has 10 fingers and an airtight alibi.
Nothing.
Well, I told you, Danny. In these departments, nothing. But in another department, something. Yeah, it could possibly be something.
You'll share it with me, Tartaglia.
Oh, Danny, why should I share? It belongs to you. While you were out, a phone call came in. I have the transcript here.
Now, just tell it to me.
It's from a Mrs. Doris Beeler. Friend of yours, Danny?
Never heard the name before. What does she want?
She sounded like a nice lady. She says if you will come to her apartment hotel, the Jackson, on West 87th,
She'll what, Tartaglia?
She will tell you about the murderer of Anne Cornell.
Yes?
Mrs. Beeler? Mrs. Doris Beeler?
Yes. What do you want, young man?
I'm from the police, Mrs. Beeler. Danny Clover. I had word that you called...
Oh, yes. Please, come in, Mr. Clover.
Thank you.
The hallways in your city. They're so long and dark. No windows. I suppose it's because there's so little room to spread out here. This is my first time here, Mr. Clover.
Oh?
Yes, I'm from Iowa. I've never been away from home in my life. Except once when I was a little girl. Oh, please sit down, Mr. Clover.
Thank you.
You'll find that chair the most comfortable. They're all so ratty, but...
You're from Iowa, Mr. Beeler. From London, Iowa?
Why, yes, from London, Iowa. Born and raised there. And married there. To Mr. Beeler. I'm music teacher in London, Iowa. How did you know?
They told me over the phone you could tell me about Anne Cornell's murderer.
Oh, yes. I can, Mr. Clover. I can. Oh, it's just the doorbell. I'll go see who it is and send him away, Mr. Clover. I'll only be a minute. Yes? Oh,
Mrs. Beeler! Mrs. Beeler! Mrs. Beeler, what happened?
yes.
Who was it? Tell me.
I...
She lay, her body pressed against the wall of the narrow, shadowed hallway. There was something serene in her face, a serenity that denied the spectacle violent death had made of her. That closed her eyes against the blood that soiled her clean dress, her going-away dress. And that was all. The silent corridor receiving her death. And the serenity, nothing else.
You are listening to Broadway's My Beat, written by Morton Fine and David Friedkin, and starring Larry Thor as Detective Danny Clover.
about Broadway, it'll lay you odds on anything. The girl walking towards you will smile. 2 to 1. Sorry, kid, you lose that one. But you're welcome to try again. The little guy eyeing the dancers on the Spectacular. 3 to 5, he got lost in Dream Alley and can't go home. No play. No? Here's a good one, kid. A parlay on murder. 18-year-old girl studied music, strangled. A woman shot down because she opened the door. And both from a whistle stop called London, Iowa. Clever, huh, kid? Make your play any way you want. And at headquarters the next day, a man has been trying to tilt the odds in your favor.
You haven't listened to a word I said, Mr. Clover. All I ask of you is that you listen.
All right, Mr. Goodwin, I'll listen. You were saying...
Now, see, you haven't heard a word. Do you want to solve the murder of that poor little girl I saw being strangled? Do you really want to?
What is it you want to tell me, Mr. Goodwin? That you've solved the murder?
Practically. It was I who saw the deed. In the excitement of revealing the crime to you, I completely forgot a most important detail, a most lurid detail.
And that is?
The man who was strangling that girl wore eyeglasses. Thick eyeglasses. There, Mr. Clover. It's all yours.
Tartaglia.
Yeah, Danny. See? I am at your beck and call. You got company.
The company's leaving, Sergeant. Will you hold the door open for him? Goodbye, Mr. Goodwin.
But see here, you can't just dismiss...
Goodbye, Mr. Goodwin.
That's the thanks I get. Well, it takes all kinds to make a world, I always say.
Goodbye, Mr. Goodwin. Whenever you're in the neighborhood, stop in to see it. I said something wrong, Danny? All right, so I apologize. Don't stand there biting my head off without opening your mouth.
What have you got on Mrs. Beeler?
Thanks, Danny. Mrs. Beeler, we checked the elevator boy, desk clerk. Nobody asked for her while you were in her apartment talking to her. Nobody went up even to that floor. They know because it's very quiet that time of day in that hotel.
The other exit?
Check, Danny. There's a service entrance in the back. Nobody saw nobody come in or go out. Mostly because they didn't bother to care if anybody came in or out. They admit the possibility that somebody might have, but then...
All right.
Well, Danny, you yourself asked me.
I hate myself for it. What do you got on Mrs. Beeler from the London, Iowa police?
What I expected. That she was a nice lady, known and respected by her neighbors. She was married to a Mr. George Beeler, a music teacher, who is at present out of town from London, Iowa. Oh, Danny, those small towns. You know, there's something so peaceful about them. Many times have Mrs. Tartaglia and I entertained a wanderlust to go to such a town. We even...
Tartaglia.
Yeah, Danny?
You think the wanderlust can lead you back to your desk?
Huh?
I think it can. Go on, try it, Tartaglia. Close the door gently on your way out.
Roger. We'll call.
There was nothing to do after that except think about it. And the process didn't lend itself well to the old familiar scars and the gently falling dust of police headquarters. I went outside. I almost made it to the sidewalks of the civilians. The squad owned it all. Pulled alongside of me and stopped. And the door opened and Officer Florio leaned toward me.
Hey, Johnny.
Yeah? What do you want?
Come on, Johnny. Homicide, 34th Street, east side, right in the subway.
To get there, the subway was going about its business, the comings and goings of the underground civilians, except a corner of it. The corner defined around the green bench near the magazine stand. 3 policemen in uniform held back a crowd whose face looked like it had a veil drawn over it. And between the subway trains and the soft cluckings of the mob, a man in a brown ready-made suit shouldered his way.
Hi, Danny. Here, come on. Hold my hand. I'll get you through this barrier of curious onlookers.
What happened, Muggavan?
Guy stretched out on the bench. It happened to him.
What did?
He was pushed into the side of a moving subway train.
Witnesses?
Yeah, that lady with the bundles, the brown paper bag.
Brief me, Muggavan.
Well, according to her, she just put a dime in a turnstile. She sees this man here standing near the edge of the platform reading a newspaper. And all of a sudden... did you hear me, Danny?
Yeah, try it again.
Yeah. Well, anyhow, a guy walked up and back and pushed him against the train. The guy ran before anybody knew what happened.
The man on the bench, identification?
Oh, yeah, plenty of that. Hotel key, driver's license, social security card, large card. It worked.
Yeah, okay. Who is he?
They're right here. Name is Arthur Walker, a traveling salesman of shoes, employed by the Black Parrot Shoe Company. A letter in his pocket indicates he was here on a buying trip.
Where'd he check in? Anything on that?
Vickers Hotel on 47th Street. I know the place, Danny. Respectable.
Did you find out where this Arthur Walker came from?
I've been itching for you to ask me, Danny. Arthur Walker came from London, Iowa.
I beg your pardon.
I'm sorry, sir. We can't register you without baggage, unless, of course, you pay in advance. You can do that?
I can do even better. Look.
Oh, a policeman? That's what the badge says, doesn't it? I'm quite nearsighted. You might be from the gas company.
Yeah, I might. You're the guest here, Arthur Walker.
Oh, he's one of our most desirable clients, Mr. Walker is. Whenever he makes a buying trip to New York, he comes to our hospital rest, the Vickers, in the Vickers chain. Had a guest, but we still have him.
No, he's dead. Murdered.
But that's shocking. Positively shocking. Poor Mr. Walker. He was always so generous. Never said goodbye without money in his palm, never.
Tell me more about him.
Oh, he was a shoe salesman. Gave me a sample pair once. His demands were polite, modest. Only once did he call on me, the manager, personally.
What did he call on you for?
For a ridiculous tourist type of thing. He wanted me to arrange a ticket for him on some Acme sightseeing tour. A sophisticated man like Mr. Walker in shoes and so on.
When was this? The tour. When was it?
Let me think. Why, it was the day before yesterday. That's it, the day before. Anything else?
Nothing, except your carnations wilted, manager.
Hey, Danny, I'm enjoying myself.
Yeah, I'm glad you are, Muggavan.
This Acme bus tour up nooks and down the crannies of old Manhattan is a revelation to me. I'm enjoying it, but I don't get it.
Two men we know of took this ride. One saw a murder. Another got pushed in front of a subway train. Maybe somewhere...
You're right, ladies and gentlemen. We see the edifice known as the Radio City Music Hall. The fact to remember about this place is that in the lobby there is a mechanical boy that once an hour sings the song of the Mexican Nightingale, the original Spanish language. Also in the lobby there are many... We stop here for 5 minutes so that you can look at the Fulton Street Market.
In this market, it is possible to negotiate for the purchase of Florida pompano, lump crab meat, jumbo shrimp, fresh fruit.
It's just a coincidence, Danny. What can happen on a sightseeing tour has to do with two murders?
I don't know. Maybe just what you said, a coincidence.
On either side of the street, ladies and gentlemen, we present the Bowery, where the Blossom meets the Jessup. From Chatham Square to... All out for dreamy Chinatown.
We will have a 30-minute stop over here.
We too, Danny?
Sure.
Now, I want all of us to stick together in our little party. Acme Tours, by special arrangement with the shopkeepers of Chinatown, has arranged a delightful side tour, during which you will be able to buy valuable and rare examples of Oriental art at wholesale prices. Please follow me.
We too, Danny?
Just you, Muggavan.
Huh?
Uh-huh. How long do you think it would take to get over to the house where Ann Cornell was strangled, to 1st Avenue and 35th?
By subway? Maybe 7 minutes?
Yeah, about that. That'd give a sightseer plenty time to commit a murder and get back here to become a sightseer again. Wouldn't it, Muggavan?
Huh?
Wouldn't it, Muggavan? Enjoy Chinatown, kid. I'm going to try it. Muggavan was wrong. The trip took 8 minutes. But on the way up to Ann Cornell's room, there was a delay. A woman who told me she was the manager asked me what I wanted. I said the room of Ann Cornell and showed her my badge to underline the point. She said Miss Cornell's room had been rented to a piano teacher because it had a piano in it. She said, listen. Then she said, see? I did. sat there, his fingers moving over the keys of the battered upright. His face cool. I watched.
That's the way it should be played, Anne. See? I'll play it again. See how easily I do it, Anne? Now, watch my right hand.
I didn't know you were a piano teacher, Mr. Goodwin. Mr. Goodwin. Mr. Goodwin.
No one by the name of Goodwin is here. What do you mean by interrupting this lesson? Get out of here.
I'm sorry. I didn't know you were giving a lesson, Mr. Beeler. That's right, isn't it? You are Mr. Beeler.
Pay no attention to him, Anne. Here, now, I'll show you once more.
I want you for murder, Mr. Beeler. Mr. Beeler.
Leave me alone. Leave me alone.
For murder, Mr. Beeler.
You understand why I had to kill my wife, don't you, Anne? She followed me here. She didn't want me to love you.
And Arthur Walker, why did you kill him?
Please.
Why did you kill him, Mr. Beeler?
I had to. Back home, it was scandal, Anne and I. That's why you went away from me, wasn't it, Anne?
Arthur Walker, Mr. Beeler.
Oh, I had to kill him. He was in New York selling shoes.
Yeah, he was also on the Acme sightseeing tour with you.
Of course he was. Then he read in the newspaper about my wife's death.
He knew you killed her, didn't he?
Yes.
What about Anne?
Mr. Walker remembered he missed me all the while the bus stopped in Chinatown. He didn't see me again until the bus was ready to leave.
Then Walker did just what I did. Retraced your steps. You killed him in the subway.
He found out about Anne. When he read that Anne was dead. Dead? Oh, but you're not dead, Anne. You're not. Now, listen to me. I didn't mean it. You made me angry. You ran away from me, and then I came to you, and you tried to run away again, and I had to keep you here. I didn't mean to hurt you, Anne. Anne, play. Here, I'll show you. Oh,
His fingers ripped the ugly sounds and hurled them against the fact of Anne's death. Again. Then the thread that bound his sanity gave way. And there was a secret smile on his face. He knew Anne was sitting beside him. Jack-in-the-Box with leaps from dark doorways. And it's a geek with no arms, no legs, and no heart. It's Broadway, the gaudiest, the most violent, the lonesomest mile in the world. Broadway, my beat.
Broadway's My Beat stars Larry Thor as Detective Danny Clover with Charles Calvert as Tartaglia. The program was produced and directed by Elliott Lewis. The musical score was composed and conducted by Alexander Courage. Included in tonight's cast were Joseph Kearns, Norma Varden, Florence Ravenal, Jack Kruschen, Sam Edwards, and Bert Holland.
on FEN Presents, you've been listening to the adventures of Detective Danny Clover in Broadway is My Beat and Fibber McGee and Molly. Join us again Monday night at 9:05 once again for FEN Presents. This is Air Force Sergeant Bart McCormick.
Welcome back. This was rebroadcast from FEN, aka the Far East Network, which served American personnel in Japan, the Philippines, and Guam, most likely from the 1970s. This is a case where I have to wonder if the killer would have gotten away with it but for his efforts to cover his own tracks by reporting the case to the police. Even after he killed the shoe salesman, the tour wouldn't have been viewed as significant by Danny if the killer hadn't claimed to see the murder from the tour bus. But sometimes murderers do help the police out like that. Today's death of a witness is probably one of the more frustrating ones. You don't expect the witness to be genre savvy, but even without being genre savvy, you would think that Danny would keep an eye on someone who had information to disclose about a murder, because it's not beyond the realm of possibility that some might her harm, and he has a lot of experience with that. And also, I will admit that I did decide to mention Fulton Fish Market after hearing that they were featured in this episode. Sometimes you just can't pass up that sort of tie-in. All right, well, listener comments and feedback now, and we start over on YouTube, and we have some comments regarding the Marcia Dean murder case. Ronser writes, "Do I hear the laugher?" And that's a reference to a character from the Adventures of Superman. No, I don't believe so, because Broadway's My Beat at this point was Hollywood-based, and the actor who played the laugher worked in New York. A very distinct voice, and I actually don't know the name of the actor behind the voice. And he's not only played the laugher, he played the Apostle Peter in The Greatest Story Ever Told, that radio series, which we featured for one of our Easter specials on the Amazing World of Radio. His voice has shown up a couple of times on great detective programs. He was in an episode of Nick Carter and also an episode of Ellery Queen, again, both New York-based programs. Then a comment from Kamal, who writes, "I can't talk now. Why you're standing right here? Why do they always meet at 10 p.m.? Why don't they know it's a setup when they say come alone?" I will say that there is some reason to not immediately dismiss a request to come alone, because people are oftentimes really nervous and have cause to be, and there may be someone around or nearby that they don't want to hear what is going to be told to the police. That said, you would think that a policeman who had as many witnesses die on him as Danny Clover would come up with some alternate ways to handle those sort of requests. And Mechanic 6682 said, "I easily recognized Howard McNear on both roles, but I also thought I heard Virginia Gregg twice." It could be. I honestly do have some difficulty recognizing when Virginia Gregg, and there are actors and probably even more actresses that I don't always recognize when they're doing multiples, because they're able to make each of their voices sound so very different. Of course, there are some more standard Virginia grade characterizations, so if I happen to recognize, oh, that's one Virginia grade characterization, and that kind of sounds like another, but I often don't pick up on that with her. She's very subtle about it, which also might be why she was so often called upon to play multiple parts. Like even in something like the Nick Shern matter, if you didn't know that she did a very similar voice in playing Meg in Meg's Palace as the landlady who she played in part 2 of that story before appearing as Kathy O'Dare in parts 4 and 5, you wouldn't actually know that they doubled up. But there are many other actors and actresses who aren't quite as subtle when they do their doubles. And then have an email from Lawrence, who writes, concerning the storyline of last week's Broadway's My Beat, and this is by email, the Marcia Dean murder case, I always question when a client who turns out to be the murderer comes to hire the detective. This is a plot not only used for this show, but I heard it used on different radio detective programs as well. To me, it's just plain ridiculous. However, in thinking about the why, I came up with the explanation Sherlock Holmes gives at the end of the story, The Adventure of the Retired Colorman, which used the same narrative. Joseph Amberley hires Holmes to find his missing wife, yet he's the one that killed her. The why being he figures that Sherlock won't be able to solve the case, and he can then state to everyone, I tried. I even enlisted the services of Sherlock Holmes with no results. Basically a sick mind to begin with. Otherwise, a normal person would place a perfunctory police report and move on. Just my deduction, with a wink. Yours truly, Lawrence. Well, thanks so much, Lawrence, and it's a fair point, and certainly it applies to something like this week's episode as well. And it probably should temper some of our criticism of the way that murderers act, because oftentimes when people think, well, why didn't the murderer just do that? There is an expectation, unspoken, that the murderer is a normal person who is going to act within normal expectations. But by the fact that they are committing calculated murder, there's already something that's a bit different about them. Of course, you don't want to just let writers get away with total and utter nonsense, but some perspective, and I think that certainly does make sense, and it's something you could apply to today's case as well. We turn to Spotify, where we have a comment first regarding episode 4661, the Thelma Harper murder case. Charles writes, I always love hearing Sheldon Leonard and that distinctive voice of his. He is my favorite part of It's a Wonderful Life. I appreciate the comment, Charles. I wouldn't say he is my favorite part of the film, but I'm somewhat gratified to hear from someone who associates Sheldon Leonard with It's a Wonderful Life. Because when I hear other people talk about him, they associate him with other things. Horse racing stories and like some of the more shady characters he played at various times. And to be clear, he had an amazing career. Not just behind the microphone, but an incredible TV producer. I mean, you look at some of the programs that he produced. The Danny Thomas Show, The Andy Griffith Show, and The Dick Van Dyke Show, as well as I Spy. But for me, when I think of Sheldon Leonard, I think of him playing Nick in It's a Wonderful Life, and him saying to George and Clarence, out you pixies go, through the door or out the window. And apologies to the estate of Sheldon Leonard for that horrible attempt at an impersonation. But he is also a lot of fun on radio. But that It's a Wonderful Life association comes from the fact that I've seen that movie so many times, because I grew up in the time where the film was considered public domain, and it was actually on television all year round. I remember watching it a couple of times in summer. And then, finally, The Lion's Eye comments regarding the Max Wendell murder case and regarding the company that was robbed in that episode. Acme Pharmaceuticals, I knew they made anvils, bird feed, and dynamite. Wow, they are diverse. Well, I will say this for Acme. It's kind of a natural fit for them when you think about all of those chemicals that the Coyote ordered from Acme. I mean, you had like growing pills and slow down pills and speed up pills. So of course they had a pharmaceutical company. All right, well, thanks so much. Appreciate all your comments. Now it's time to thank our Patreon supporter of the day. Thank you to Wendy, Patreon supporter since May of 2019, currently supporting the podcast at the Shamus level of $4 or more per month. Thanks so much for your support, Wendy, and that'll actually do it for today. If you're enjoying the podcast, please follow us using your favorite podcast software, and be sure to rate and review the podcast wherever you download it from. We'll be back next Wednesday with another episode of Broadway's My Beat, but join us back here tomorrow for Mr. and Mrs. North, where...
that murder last night has got the whole department in an uproar.
That watchman's murder on the east side?
Mm-hmm. They dropped it in my lap at about 6 o'clock this morning, and I haven't been able to come up with a thing except this.
Well, what's that, Bill?
The murder weapon. The guy that cracked that safe last night used this on the watchman and then forgot to take it with him.
What is it, Bill? A sash weight?
No, it's part of a sectional jimmy.
What in the world is a sectional jimmy?
Oh, haven't you ever seen one?
Oh.
It's a tool that's made for burglars. It's like a crowbar, only it splits up into 3 sections so it can be carried in a grip without being seen.
Huh. I never knew there were tools that were specially made for burglars.
Oh, there's plenty of them. And they aren't easy to come by either. This one was made by a pro.
Do you know who made it?
Well, Pam, I'm not sure, but I got a pretty good idea. It's got the same markings and workmanship as a jimmy we picked up about 2 years ago. Belonged to a thug named Newsel.
A safecracker?
One of the best.
Well, then that should make things easy, Bill. If you know who made this jimmy, all you have to do is arrest him, and you got the murderer.
Well, it isn't as easy as that, Pam. The man who made this jimmy didn't rob that safe last night.
How do you know?
Because I sent him to jail about 6 months ago.
Well, then he's gotten out. That's it, Bill. This Newsel man has broken out of prison.
He couldn't have, Pam.
Why not?
Because I sent him up for murder. He was electrocuted the day before...
I hope you'll be with us then. In the meantime, send your comments to box13@greatdetectives.net. Follow us on Twitter at Radio Detectives, and check us out on Instagram, instagram.com/Great Detectives. From Boise, Idaho, this is your host, Adam Graham, signing off.